Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Golden Bachelorette Gary Levingston on Heartbreak and Best Mates. Gary Levingston made quite the impression on the Golden Bachelorette, and Joan Vassos loved his heart. Unfortunately, he was sent home on the Wednesday, October 9th episode, and many hearts were broken. He amassed a plethora of fans, and now he is opening up about Heartbreak and the best mates he met at the mansion. Keep reading for more details on Gary's time on the show. When Gary Levingston first arrived at the mansion to win over Joan Vassos, he was one to watch. His big heart and infectious laugh were more than enough for the fans at home. Some have even felt he would be a good choice for the next Golden Bachelor. Gary, because he's such a sweet guy. He has a big heart and is very genuine. It has also been noted how well the men of the Golden Bachelorette get along with each other. They are immensely supportive and sad when someone goes home. It is a real brotherhood despite being the competition. Yet Gary was very loving toward Joan when she shared her mother was ill. He asked for her mother's name and said he would pray for her. Then he gave her a handwritten prayer, which was absolutely beautiful and meaningful to Joan. It proved Gary not only cared for her but her family as well. Sadly, she had to let him go home along with fellow fan favorite, Charles Ling. Despite his exit and not leaving with love, Gary Levingston, godson of Tina Turner, told people what he did leave with. He was fortunate enough to meet some incredible friends while in the mansion and on the show. The experience is one that I wouldn't trade in for the world. It was really amazing connecting with all the guys. Gary had one dear friend in his roommate, Chalk Chapel. He noted how they grew even closer after Chalk's mother passed, causing him to exit the show temporarily. I think for me, probably my most memorable was the connection I made one-on-one with Chalk when his mom passed, and it was very emotional. Him and I grew even closer because we were roommates. Guy and Charles also were my roommates, and I got a chance to really get to know him as a person, and he getting to know me as well. Gary loved spending time chatting with Chalk and going in depth with him as a friend. Fans were also thrilled when Chalk returned, as it is clear he and Joan have a very close connection. Though Gary Levingston wanted to end up with Joan Vassos, he does want to remain friends with her. In the end, that was what came out of it despite the disappointment he felt being let go. As for what is next for him, he believes the show helped him immensely. He now has the confidence to start dating again, and the Golden Bachelorette seems to have loosened him up some. Now it is really about what it is that I want, and it's closer than I think. I just have to continue to wait and stay in prayer that she's going to be everything that I could have ever imagined. Gary has so much support and love, not just from the viewers, but from his mansion men. There is no doubt that his story will have a very happy ending. Now he just has to dance his way into the right person's heart. When Gary Levingston was first announced as the star of the Golden Bachelorette, it was clear that he was not your average contestant in search of love. At 67, the retired firefighter and widower had already experienced the depths of love and loss. His rugged charm and open heart made him a fan favorite from the start, but behind that winning smile, Gary carried the weight of a lifetime of heartbreak. What audiences didn't see, at least not right away, was the deep sense of friendship that helped him through his toughest moments, giving him the strength to step into the dating spotlight once again. Love lost but never forgotten, Gary's love story begins decades before his time on the Golden Bachelorette. He married his high school sweetheart, Nancy, at just 21. Their love was the kind of romance people write songs about. From dancing barefoot in the kitchen to raising two beautiful children, Gary and Nancy built a life filled with joy, laughter, and unwavering support. We weren't perfect, but we were perfect for each other. Gary would say, with a nostalgic smile that tugged at the corners of his eyes. For 40 years, Gary and Nancy shared everything until tragedy struck. Nancy was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer. Despite a courageous battle, she passed away just 2 years after her diagnosis. Gary was left shattered, questioning whether he would ever be able to open his heart again. "It was like losing a part of myself," Gary admitted during one of the Golden Bachelorette episodes, his voice filled with raw emotion. "I didn't think I could ever feel whole again." His vulnerability touched viewers, many of whom saw their own stories of loss reflected in his. The healing power of friendship. Amidst his grief, Gary found solace in an unexpected place, his best mates. A group of 5 childhood friends, affectionately dubbed the Golden Boys, had been part of Gary's life since their school days. They had been through it all together, from first crushes to fatherhood, and now they were determined to see their friend through his darkest days. Tom, one of Gary's closest pals, shared his perspective on Gary's resilience. "Gary's always been the guy we could count on, whether it was rushing into a burning building or lending a hand when one of us needed a ride. But after Nancy passed, we knew it was our turn to be there for him. We weren't about to let him drown in his grief." The Golden Boys would meet every Friday at their favorite diner, where they'd swap stories, share laughs, and make sure Gary never felt alone. "It was their love and humor that helped me put one foot in front of the other," Gary later revealed in a candid interview. "I realized that while I had lost my partner, I hadn't lost all the love in my life. My friends were there, lifting me up." One of the most heartwarming moments of the Golden Bachelorette came when Gary introduced his group of friends to one of the women he was dating on the show. The camaraderie and playful banter between the men made it clear just how much Gary's friends meant to him. It was a testament to the importance of friendship, particularly during life's toughest moments. Opening up to new love. Gary's decision to join the Golden Bachelorette wasn't an easy one. "I hesitated for a long time," he confessed. "Part of me felt like I was betraying Nancy by even considering dating again. But my daughters, my friends, they kept encouraging me to take the leap, to believe that I could find happiness again." It was his best mate, Tony, who gave him the final push. "Tony just sat me down and said, 'Gary, Nancy wouldn't want you to live the rest of your life alone. She'd want you to be happy.' And that really struck a chord with me," Gary said, his voice cracking slightly. "It wasn't about replacing Nancy. It was about honoring the love we had by allowing myself to experience new love." Gary approached the show with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. His friends, meanwhile, were equal parts supportive and skeptical. "We had a bet going on how long it would take before he started charming the ladies," joked Chris, another member of the Golden Boys. Turns out it didn't take long at all. From the very first episode, Gary's sincerity and genuine approach won over both the contestants and the audience. He wasn't interested in playing games or rushing into anything. Instead, he focused on building connections, sharing stories about his life, his family, and of course, his beloved Nancy. One of the most emotional moments came during a date where Gary opened up about his late wife. "There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about her," he told one of the women, tears welling up in his eyes. "But I also know that life is about moving forward. I'm here because I believe I still have room in my heart for love." Best mates, best cheerleaders. Throughout the entire process, Gary's friends remained his biggest cheerleaders. They watched every episode religiously, often teasing him about his romantic gestures, but always supporting his journey. "We were rooting for him, man," Tom said with a chuckle. "He deserves to find happiness again. We all do." The Golden Boys even made a surprise appearance during one of the final episodes, where they offered their insights on the women Gary had been dating. "We're his family too," Tony said during the show. "We just want what's best for him, someone who will love him as much as Nancy did." In the end, the Golden Bachelorette wasn't just about Gary finding new love. It was about rediscovering himself, learning to open his heart again, and recognizing that the bonds of friendship are just as important as romantic love. Looking toward the future, whether or not Gary finds the one by the end of the show, one thing is certain: his journey has already been a success. He's proven that it's never too late to find love, that healing is possible after heartbreak, and that the support of good friends can make all the difference in the world. "I'm grateful for the experience," Gary said in a recent interview. "But more than that, I'm grateful for my friends. They've been my rock through it all, and they remind me every day that love is all around us, in so many different forms. I'm ready for whatever comes next, because I know I won't be facing it alone."